Have you ever noticed how some messages disappear into the void while others spark immediate response? That difference isn't luck, it's structure. My epic discovery. One winter morning, I sent an email with a strange subject line. What happens when you mix a snowstorm, a FedEx truck, and a lawn that didn't ask for this life? Inside, I told a true story. I heard tires spinning and the dreaded beep, beep, beep outside my house. A FedEx truck was stuck in my snow-covered driveway. Snow was flying everywhere. My first thought was not charitable. Then the driver stepped out, shoulders slumped. I knew I shouldn't have pulled in, he said. My lawn was destroyed, but instead of anger, something shifted. I invited him in to warm up while he waited for a tow truck. We talked about his family, his work, and how much he actually loved his job, even on days like this. After the truck was finally pulled free, he looked at me and said, I thought you'd yell at me. Most people would. Thanks for not being who I expected. Can I give you a hug? A hug? From the guy who wrecked my lawn? That moment reinforced something simple but powerful. Kindness creates moments that matter. What I did not expect was what happened after I hit send. That email earned a 70% open rate and a 49% click-through rate. Numbers far beyond industry norms. But more importantly, people replied. They shared it. They talked about it. That was the first email I intentionally structured using what would later become the Epic Communication Framework. Not a trick, not a gimmick, a structure that honors how humans actually connect. Since then, I've seen consistent increases in engagement across emails, campaigns, websites, and appeals. And I'm not the only one. As John Nelson from the Association for Christian Fundraising shared after implementing Epic, something simple paired with thoughtful strategy created a response people couldn't stop talking about. The impact was undeniable. Here's the key insight to remember. You don't need another funnel. You need a story people want to repeat. Here's why framework beats formula. Most messaging formulas feel mechanical because they are. They're designed for transactions, not transformation. The Epic Communication Framework works differently. Think about how relationships form in real life. You don't walk up to someone and immediately ask for commitment. You build rapport. You share a story. You create trust. Then you extend an invitation. Epic mirrors that natural progression. You already have meaningful stories. What has been missing is a structure that allows them to work every time. Epic stands for engage, persuade, inspire, and close. Together, these four elements form a complete communication system. Engage with connection. The core principle is that you need to create immediate connection by naming challenges your audience already recognizes. The question it answers is, why should I pay attention right now? The human brain is wired to notice problems before solutions. When people recognize their own struggle in your opening, attention flows naturally. Here's an example of a before. Our organization provides after-school tutoring to at-risk youth. Here's the after using the Epic framework. Jaden stared at his math homework, tears welling up. With falling grades and no help at home, his confidence was slipping along with his dreams of college. The first statement informs. The second creates connection. Next, persuade through story and evidence. Here's the core principle. You're going to build trust by pairing authentic story with credible proof. The question it answers is, why should I believe you can solve this? Stories activate empathy. Evidence reinforces credibility. When used together, they create trust. Here's an example of a before. Our tutoring program helps students improve their grades. Here's the after using the Epic framework. 3 months into the program, Jaden's math grade moved from a D to a B. The real breakthrough came when he ran in waving a test marked 92%. Across our program, 89% of students improve at least one letter grade in a semester, and 94% report increased confidence. Now, one makes a claim and the other earns belief. Next, we're going to inspire with vision. The principle is that you need to connect action to identity and purpose. The question it answers is, how does this matter beyond me? People are motivated more by who they can become than what they can receive. Here's an example of a before. Your donation helped provide tutoring services. After is an example using the EPIC framework. When you support this program, you are not just helping with homework. You are becoming part of a community that ensures every child has someone who believes in them. You are helping rewrite what is possible in our city. This shifts the conversation from transaction to meaning. And finally, we're going to close with clear next steps. The principle is to guide the next steps with confidence and simplicity. The question it answers is, what do you want me to do next? When people are unsure, they hesitate. Clear direction removes friction. Here's an example of a before. Please consider donating, volunteering, or spreading the word. After, using the EPIC framework, will you become a homework hero with a $47 monthly gift? This provides one student with weekly tutoring and a dedicated mentor. Click below to start your support and receive a welcome note from a student like Jaden. Clarity converts intention into action. Now, the EPIC framework works across industries because it works with human nature. Here's an example of an educational system. At Greenville Technical College Foundation, the challenge was not impact, but communication. Messaging focused on programs and outcomes, but donors struggled to feel the story. Using EPIC, the focus shifted from the institution to the student. A first-generation learner, a moment of doubt, a scholarship that changed more than finances. It changed belief. The data didn't disappear. It simply gained context and meaning. Donors no longer heard about funding education. They saw themselves opening doors. In fact, when Greenville Tech Foundation implemented the EPIC communication framework, their email open and click-through rates more than doubled within 6 months. Here's another example. At Spartanburg County Foundation, nonprofit partners were doing meaningful work but lacked the structure to tell their stories clearly. Most had limited capacity and no marketing support. During a storytelling and AI training, something shifted. As a real story was rewritten live using EPIC, confidence rose across the room. Storytelling stopped feeling overwhelming. It became doable, and nonprofits left equipped with clarity, confidence, and tools they could immediately use. They were no longer hoping their message would connect. They understood how to make it connect. When community foundations equip nonprofits with structure instead of slogans, impact multiplies. When people see themselves in the story, they step forward. Your message is your mission in motion. Your message is not separate from your mission. It's how your mission moves. Clear messages spread. Structured stories can scale. And confident communication builds community and support. EPIC is not about writing better emails. It's about leading with clarity, trust, and purpose. Your EPIC transformation starts here. To begin, review your current messaging through the EPIC lens. Choose one important message to restructure. Compare the results before and after. Apply the framework consistently across your organization. If you'd like to see how the EPIC communication framework can serve as an operating system for your organization, you have 2 options. Book a call to explore how EPIC applies to your specific goals, or you can download the EPIC Impact Starter Kit to access the full framework, templates, and guided tools. You can get started at haleyevans.com.